The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel Season 4 is here. It's been a little bit a skip and a hop towards this season, mainly because of COVID. But that happens. That's every show nowadays. So Season 4, immediately before this dropped, got renewed for a fifth and final season. I have thoughts on that. I'm not going to say much of anything. I think the money they're putting into Miss Maisel now is not what they're getting back. Because the show is out. The first two episodes are here. No one's talking about it. No one has said a word. I haven't seen any buzz online about it. There are people excited. I know people who've watched the show, but nobody is talking about it. Which leads me to believe they forgot about it. And I think that sucks because of COVID. We did miss the opportunity for this to have a great release right after this third season. But you know what? The break hurt it. These first two episodes, they're doing 2 episodes every week for 4 weeks. Smart idea. If this does well, we'll talk about all the episodes. But as it just stands, we'll do the first 2 right now. Just because I don't know how the discourse is going to go online for this. Because these first 2 episodes were really okay. They didn't have like the flavor or the magic that the rest of the show had. And that kind of sucks. To me, the biggest problem I've had with these first 2 episodes, it feels like we're retreading the same water. You know, like the first episode of this season is literally dedicated to Midge getting back to where she was before the events of the Shy Baldwin stuff. And I'm like, do we have to do this? Do we really have to go back? I know we should go on to bigger and better things, but going back to where we started kind of hurts the show. So we ended the 3rd season. Shy dropped them because of the comments she made. Midge was essentially canceled before canceling was a thing. And now she wants to rebrand herself and kind of like say what she wants on stage and do what she wants. Well, because of that, you're back to being a struggling artist. And as you know, as Susie puts, like, you're eventually going to, when you get on the big shows, you have to say the stupid, you know, hotel food jokes because that's how you're going to make your money as a comic. And there is some good stuff in there. I do like some of the bits. I just think there's so much like, we're going back to here. And even in the 2nd episode, it's like, okay, we're getting all the deli and the laundry people back. We got the apartment back. Abe and Rose are living with her again. We're literally back to where we were. Nothing's really changed, essentially. It's like, okay, you and Joel are still not together, but you're just back to where you were. And there's something about that I don't particularly love. But I get it. It's okay. There's some good stuff that comes from that drama and from that integrity. In the first episode alone, there's 2 bits I really enjoyed. The first bit I loved was like when Susie and Miriam are actually leaving the airstrip and Miriam is just like taking off the clothes. So she's like, I want nothing to do with this night. And they get into like a slapping match outside of the cab. That was really funny because that's the classic stuff. That's just exactly the flavor that this show needed. It's like, there it is. There's that comedy that's working sharp and going strong and really good. I also really liked the bit at Coney Island. It's really funny. All of it. You know, the stuff where Abe's freaking out because he's just like, we're going on the cyclone. We're just going to get there. Then we'll leave. And also with the Wonder Wheel, we're just going to get on it and we'll be done. And everyone's just pulling him aside to do all these other random things. That stuff's funny. We get the best Abe line of the season so far. That's not a real mermaid. She gave us pickles earlier. Best Abe line of the show so far. Amazing and super funny. Just great. And the bit when they're on the Wonder Wheel and Miriam's back and they're shouting at each other from different carts. It is beautiful comedic timing. That is the stuff that works so well for this show. Because you got Moish doing his own thing, Abe and Rose doing their own thing, Joel's trying to talk to everybody, and he's like, about the funnel cake. You guys like the funnel cake? That is some brilliant comedic timing, and it just worked so well. It was such a good moment just to have everyone back on their feet, doing the sharp, witty bits. It was so good. But then we once again retread the stuff with Susie and her sister trying to, you know, deal with like the house being on fire, getting their check for that. We once again deal with the ramification of Judi Dench's character being in this world. I'm just like, why do we have to do all these? We should move past it. We should have time to grow and move with these characters as opposed to just getting back to basics. Like 4 seasons in, we shouldn't be having the same thoughts and feelings we had before. You know, Abe and Rose want to be viewed as like the head of the house when Miriam's actually paying for everything. It's kind of funny. But it's like, do we still have to be doing that? Do we have to do all those kind of things? Like, they did hint at more stuff with Rose being the matchmaker, which could be a fun job for her if they play into that a little bit more, but they really haven't. There's some cool stuff towards the end of the second season where Abe finally feels accepted by people in his life. And I'm like, that's a sweet moment. That is earned. That's a good thing we're seeing this season. And when he gets his paycheck, it's not what he's expecting. More of that. That's the good stuff I really like. But then there's a whole montage before that of people bring things back into the kitchen and moving them back. I'm like, it's funny, but we did this already. And I understand wanting to use the same set, but it feels really easy. And the second episode, I think in particular, didn't have as many strong jokes. Not that it fell flat. I'm just like, okay, do these jokes work? I don't think the writing room's different. These jokes didn't hit the strength that I think the rest of them did. So the first episode, Shy drops them. We get like a montage where we see they're trying to build up their career again. We see that Miriam's like, I'm back. Everything's great. Is it? No. So she's like, I'm going to do the gigs that I want. What are the gigs that she wants to do? Where she would say whatever she wants because she thinks she can be Lenny Bruce. Lenny Bruce is teased to be in this season, so we'll have to see what comes from that. But I'm like, yeah, okay, babe. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you can do. She gets arrested again. We do the bit where she gets arrested again. And yeah, again, it's literally like trying to be season 1. And I just don't think that's where this should be going. And it really affects the flow of the show, where I just don't think this season was off to as strong as a start as the other ones have, which kind of sucks. Joel, again, is one of my favorite characters. He gets some interesting stuff to do here. So in the first episode, his club is doing too well, and you see that the girl's parents, well, what's her name? I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. But the woman he is seeing, I can't remember. I'm not going to think of it, but her parents, they make a joke like, oh, those are your parents, whatever. They're like, you're drawing too much attention to our activities in the basement, so maybe don't do so successful. And then the second episode, the kind of joke was like his mom's trying to set him up with somebody. She's a pregnant school teacher. And it's like, okay, we get it. But, you know, Joel delivers it well. Like, he does such a great job at just presenting the anger and the frustration he feels in his life that it just makes up for all the basic necessities to have tension with that character. I hope we get more stuff in his club. Because that's an advancement I like more than like going back to the Gaslight or going back to the other clubs we've been to. Go to Joel's club. Like, it's new. He opened it up. It's an advancement to the story. We should use that location more. Hopefully they do. Because these first 2 episodes, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just the jokes aren't as funny and we do all the same jokes we did before. It's like, why do we have to keep pretending to be season 1? We should move forward. But you know what? I'm not going to give it too much criticism because I do think in the next 6 episodes we're going to be going in directions I'm not expecting. Milo Ventimiglia is going to show up at some points. I can't wait to see what that's going to be. It could be really fun. All I know is I wasn't super impressed with these first 2 episodes, and because of that, I don't know how I'm going to do reviews for this show, just because if it's a bunch of retreading, we'll do short videos talking about it. But if there's something new to actually talk about, with some fun jokes to explore, not much we can. There's a bit about like moving Ethan's birthday up because it didn't work for them in November. That's funny. That makes sense for these characters. And then the second episode just doesn't have any real jokes. There isn't really anything funny that happened. It's good to see these characters again, but if they're not doing the things that we liked about them in the first place, what are we really doing? What are we really doing here? And I think this episode and this opening really showed me that maybe the Mrs. Maisel train has left the station and it might not be coming back. But I will watch this season. I will watch season 5 and see where the ending goes to this place. But as it stands, these first 2 episodes, I didn't particularly love them. So that's going to do it for this review of the first 2 episodes of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Again, if there's more to talk about, we will talk about it more, but as it stands, I'm not that impressed with where this season is going. But thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, tits up.